Hello all. In this short video I'll be talking about the results of a little test with some Alfie Shine hard wax. I found this wax did one thing particularly well that I've not seen others talk about. We'll get to that in a bit. So I ordered a few hand tools from Workshop Heaven recently, and thrown in with my order free of charge was a little tin of Alfie Shine. Not as a YouTuber perk type thing, it was just a promotion they had on at the time when you spent over a certain amount I think. As mentioned, it's a hard wax. Based around carnauba and beeswax along with natural resins that give it its hardness, it was developed by Enriched, no not this guy, based on old recipes of instrument makers, or so the story seems to go. To see what it was like, I pulled out some contrasting scraps of wood, some utile or utility, purple heart, poplar or tulip wood, and some English walnut. I'm not going to go mad prepping them. If there's the odd saw mark, that's fine. I just want a smooth area just to see how the wax takes. A quick once over with 180, 240 and 320 grit. A good selection for a test these pieces, as not only do they vary in colour, but they go from very hard to very soft. Fibrous open grain to tight closed grain, figured and plain. After a light sand on each with a block, I vac down and then dry wipe with a cloth to minimise debris before going to the next grit. After 320, they're all feeling and looking pretty nice and ready for wax. Aside from the smell, sort of like sweet bubblegum or fruit punch with a bit of old leather sofa thrown in. One thing that strikes me right away is this is a stiff wax. Not raw wax hard, but stiffer than most finished waxes and wax pastes. It takes a bit of coaxing out of the tin, and it probably doesn't come across in the video, but takes a decent effort on virgin wood to work it in. It'd have to be an incredible finish to encourage me to work this into a whole chair, going around all those curves with several applications, let me tell you. After the first application on each piece then, my initial thoughts are pretty positive. The walnut and utile look particularly good. The poplar and purple heart look okay. Nothing special, but I do like that the Alfie Shine seems to preserve natural colour to a degree. No unexpected colorations, which I'm a fan of. From what I could learn online, you want to wait a day or two before another application. It's also said that building up the applications only makes the finish better and better, so that's what I did. After the first application, I buffed off a day later. The day after that, which is what you see here, I'm working in the second application. I repeated this another 2 times over the course of a week for a total of 4 applications. I'll be honest, past the second application, I wasn't noticing any visual benefit from adding more. They looked kind of the same after 4 as they did after 2 as here. I let them sit in my workshop store for about a month, then brought them out to see how the Alfie Shine takes to a polish. This is a process my furniture goes through and a process that really makes them pop. Being a hard wax, I thought the Alfie Shine would polish quite nicely. Well, it does in that polishing produces a satisfying sheen, ultra smooth like glass, but I wouldn't say it pops. I left half the utile unpolished at first to see the contrast, and it's just that, slightly nicer sheen on the polished half. I dropped a little water on each finished piece, and as you can see the finish is quite the water repellent, with it pooling on top and running away freely, seemingly drying immediately behind the runoff. A good sign. A simple wipe with a dry cloth after 10 minutes, it's like the water was never there. These sort of basic tests, by the way, I've sort of done on all manner of finishes to select what, for me, is the best for my furniture. So will Alfie Shine be joining them? Probably not. There is, however, one thing that it does very well that might mean me keeping a tin around. In gemology, pretty rocks, crystals and all that, there's a term they use for a changeable lustre, a sparkle, almost holographic sometimes. It's used in woodworking when it applies too. That term is chatoyance. This piece of utile I've been working on has beautiful chatoyancy, which was accentuated really nicely, almost uniquely by the Alfie Shine. I don't know if it shows from my poor quality stills here, but trust me, this particular hard wax made this utile absolutely sparkle. If you're making furniture or instruments where your timber or veneers have high chatoyancy or are highly figured burl or have quilting etc, I think Alfie Shine might be the finish you're looking for to get the most out of it. I think the finish it gave on the walnut was pleasing. It did a lovely job of contrasting the natural browns and blacks without imposing colour onto walnut's unique tones. It didn't really lift it for me though. It looked and felt lovely, but didn't look and feel premium, if that makes any sense. Same sort of thing with the purple heart really. Lovely colour preservation, nice and rich, but with no real wow factor. It did nothing whatsoever for the poplar. It did nothing redeeming for it whatsoever other than make it smell quite nice. But even that I'm getting a little tired of right now. It is quite strong. So since filming all this, a couple of months have now passed and I've wiped dust from all the pieces and they came up pretty much just how I left them. That's a plus. I also found them quite resistant to a fingernail scratch test. So it does appear harder than most waxes and should offer good protection. And being a wax, if there is a minor scratch, it's an easy job to reapply some and buff off to make it easily disappear. So yeah, in sum, if it's for highly figured woods or those with chatoyancy, Alfie shine appears to be a superb finish option. As a workaday or general woodworking finish, not for me I'm afraid. If you want to take a look for yourself though, I'll leave a link to Workshop Heaven below. I'm not affiliated or anything. Like and sub and all that if you haven't already. And as always, if you made it this far, thanks for watching.